What if I told you that one of Indonesia's youngest provincial capitals is also home to one of the oldest human stories ever discovered in the archipelago? Welcome to Mamuju, a place where prehistoric civilization, Austronesian heritage, dramatic mountains, tropical rainforests, pristine islands, and the endless blue waters of the Makassar Strait come together to tell a story that the world has barely begun to hear. Most people know Mamuju simply as the capital of West Sulawesi, but that is only the beginning. Long before modern Indonesia existed, before kingdoms rose and fell, before international trade connected Asia and Europe, this land had already become home to some of the earliest Austronesian communities that would eventually shape the identity of millions of Indonesians. Deep within the highlands of Kalumpang lies one of Indonesia's oldest Neolithic archaeological sites. These remarkable discoveries reveal traces of ancient Austronesian settlers whose descendants would spread across thousands of islands and even into the Pacific Ocean, making this region one of the most historically significant landscapes in Southeast Asia. Every hill, every river, and every valley carries memories that stretch back thousands of years. This is not merely history, this is the foundation of an entire civilization. Today, Mamuju continues to preserve the rich heritage of the Mandar people, the indigenous community that has lived along the western coast of Sulawesi for generations. The Mandar language, customs, traditional arts, maritime skills, and strong sense of community remain deeply woven into everyday life. Their culture reflects resilience, dignity, and an enduring connection to both the sea and the mountains. Meanwhile, the interior highlands remain home to the Kalumpang people, whose ancestral lands preserve one of Indonesia's greatest archaeological treasures. Few places in the nation can claim to protect both living indigenous traditions and evidence of humanity's distant past within the same landscape. As the capital of West Sulawesi province, Mamuju serves as the administrative, economic, educational, and cultural heart of the region. Its population continues to grow steadily, reaching approximately 286,700 residents by the middle of 2024. The city represents a modern provincial capital while remaining firmly connected to its historical and cultural roots. Geographically, Mamuju occupies one of Indonesia's most breathtaking coastal settings. Positioned on the western edge of Sulawesi Island, the city is embraced by two magnificent bays. To the north lies Mamuju Bay. To the south stretches Lebani Bay. Facing directly toward the Makassar Strait, Mamuju enjoys spectacular sunsets that paint the sky with brilliant shades of gold, orange, crimson, and deep purple. The scenery alone rivals many of Southeast Asia's most famous coastal destinations. Yet nature has given Mamuju much more than beautiful coastlines. Its landscape rises dramatically from sea level to towering mountain peaks exceeding 1,500 meters above sea level. The highest point is Mount Adang Batambalo, standing proudly above forests, valleys, and winding rivers that sustain life across the region. This remarkable elevation creates an extraordinary diversity of ecosystems within a relatively compact area. Powerful rivers such as the Mamuju River, Karema River, Simboro River, Anung River, Taparia River, Anusu River, Tampala River, and Malunda River flow through fertile valleys before reaching the sea. These waterways have supported human settlements, agriculture, transportation, and local livelihoods for centuries. Beneath the surface, the geological history of Mamuju is equally fascinating. Ancient volcanic formations dominate much of the landscape, consisting of lapilli tuff, volcanic breccia, lava deposits, sandstone, and claystone. Elsewhere, limestone, coral formations, marl, and calcarenite reveal that parts of this region were once shaped beneath ancient tropical seas. Every mountain and every rock tells another chapter in Earth's geological evolution. Nature continues to shape daily life through Mamuju's tropical rainforest climate. Unlike regions with long dry seasons, Mamuju receives abundant rainfall throughout the year. Annual precipitation generally ranges between 2,000 and 3,000 millimeters, with roughly 120 to 180 rainy days each year. Average temperatures remain comfortably warm, typically ranging from 22 to 33 degrees Celsius, while relative humidity averages around 82%. This climate supports lush tropical forests, productive agriculture, rich biodiversity, and vibrant ecosystems that thrive across the region. One of Mamuju's most fascinating geographical features lies far from the mainland. The Balabalakang Islands belong administratively to Mamuju Regency, despite being geographically much closer to the island of Borneo. Their strategic location has even led to historical territorial disputes due to their proximity to East Kalimantan. Surrounded by crystal clear waters, coral reefs, and marine biodiversity, these islands highlight the immense maritime importance of Mamuju. Looking toward the future, discussions have emerged regarding relocating the Regency's governmental centre to Papalang district in order to support long-term urban development and administrative efficiency. Such plans demonstrate how Mamuju continues to evolve while preserving the historical identity that defines it. But beyond statistics, geography, and government, Mamuju offers something far more valuable. It reminds us that progress does not require abandoning history. A modern capital can still honour ancient civilizations. A growing economy can still protect indigenous traditions. A developing region can still celebrate the wisdom of its ancestors. Mamuju proves that the future becomes stronger when it is built upon the deepest roots of the past. This is a place where mountains meet the sea, where tropical forests guard prehistoric secrets, where ancient Austronesian footsteps still echo across the valleys, where Mandar traditions continue to flourish, where every sunrise celebrates resilience and every sunset honours thousands of years of human history. The world often searches for extraordinary destinations in distant places, yet one of Indonesia's greatest hidden treasures has been quietly waiting on the western shores of Sulawesi all along. This is not simply the capital of West Sulawesi. This is Mamuju, a land where the story of Indonesia did not merely continue, it began. Its strategic position along the Makassar Strait has made Mamuju an important gateway between the islands of Sulawesi and Kalimantan for generations. Long before modern shipping routes existed, these waters carried traders, fishermen, explorers, and cultural exchanges that connected communities across the Indonesian archipelago. The sea was never a barrier here. It was a bridge that brought people, knowledge, traditions, and opportunities together. The Mandar people became widely respected as some of Indonesia's finest seafarers. For centuries, they navigated challenging waters using remarkable maritime knowledge passed down from one generation to the next. Their understanding of the winds, tides, stars, and ocean currents allowed them to travel safely across vast distances, creating trade networks that strengthened economic and cultural relationships throughout eastern Indonesia. This deep connection to the ocean continues today. Fishing remains one of the most important livelihoods for many coastal communities. Every morning, local fishermen head into the Makassar Strait before sunrise, relying on experience, patience, and generations of inherited wisdom. Their daily work not only supports local families, but also contributes to the food security of the wider region. Agriculture also plays a vital role in the economy of Mamuju. Fertile volcanic soils, abundant rainfall, and favorable tropical conditions create ideal environments for farming. Coconut plantations, cocoa, rice fields, corn, cassava, and a variety of tropical fruits flourish across the regency. The combination of mountain ecosystems and coastal plains provides remarkable agricultural diversity, making Mamuju one of the naturally productive regions in West Sulawesi. The surrounding forests are equally important. They provide habitats for countless species of plants and wildlife, while serving as natural reservoirs that regulate water supplies and protect the landscape from erosion. Conserving these ecosystems is essential, not only for biodiversity, but also for ensuring sustainable development for future generations. Tourism remains one of Mamuju's greatest untapped opportunities. Visitors who arrive here are welcomed by landscapes that feel both peaceful and spectacular. Quiet beaches stretch along the coastline. Rolling green hills overlook the sea. Crystal clear rivers cut through fertile valleys. Hidden waterfalls flow through tropical forests. Every destination offers a sense of discovery that cannot be manufactured or replicated. Unlike crowded tourist hotspots, Mamuju allows travelers to experience authentic Indonesia. Here, traditions remain genuine. Communities still warmly welcome visitors. Local markets reflect everyday life rather than commercial attractions. Cultural celebrations continue because they matter to the people, not because they are designed for tourists. The Balabalakang Islands represent another extraordinary treasure waiting to be discovered. Surrounded by turquoise waters and vibrant coral reefs, these remote islands possess enormous potential for sustainable marine tourism. Snorkeling, diving, island exploration, and marine conservation could transform the area into one of Indonesia's premier ecotourism destinations while preserving its fragile natural beauty. Education and infrastructure continue to develop alongside economic growth. Roads, government institutions, schools, healthcare facilities, and public services have expanded significantly since West Sulawesi became a separate province. As the provincial capital, Mamuju plays a central role in driving regional development while connecting remote districts with broader opportunities. Yet progress has never been without challenges. Like many regions located along the Pacific Ring of Fire, Mamuju exists within an area of significant geological activity. Earthquakes have tested the resilience of its people more than once. Buildings can be rebuilt, roads can be repaired, but what truly defines Mamuju is the unwavering determination of its people to rise after every hardship. Communities came together to help one another recover. Families supported neighbors. Volunteers worked tirelessly. Local leaders coordinated rebuilding efforts. Across every challenge, the spirit of solidarity became stronger than fear itself. That resilience is perhaps Mamuju's greatest strength, because the true wealth of a region is never measured only by its natural resources or economic statistics. It is measured by the character of its people. It is measured by their willingness to protect their culture while embracing the future. It is measured by their courage to rebuild when disaster strikes. It is measured by their determination to leave a better home for the next generation. This is why Mamuju deserves far greater recognition, not only within Indonesia, but across the world. It is a place where archaeology uncovers humanity's earliest footsteps, where indigenous traditions continue to thrive, where mountains, forests, rivers, islands, and oceans exist in remarkable harmony, where history is not locked inside museums, but lives in the language, customs, and daily lives of its people. Every journey to Mamuju becomes more than a visit. it becomes a journey through thousands of years of human civilization, extraordinary natural beauty, and the enduring spirit of a community that continues to move forward without ever forgetting where it came from. As Indonesia continues to emerge as one of the world's most influential nations, regions like Mamuju remind us that national strength is built from local greatness. Every province, every regency, every village contributes another chapter to the remarkable story of the archipelago. Mamuju is one of those chapters that deserves to be read by the world. Its strategic location on the western coast of Sulawesi positions it as a natural gateway for trade, investment, logistics, and regional cooperation. Facing the Makassar Strait, one of Indonesia's busiest maritime corridors, Mamuju has enormous potential to strengthen economic connectivity between Sulawesi, Kalimantan, and the eastern regions of the country. As infrastructure continues to improve, new opportunities emerge across transportation, tourism, fisheries, agriculture, education, renewable energy, and small business development. These sectors are not simply engines of economic growth, they are pathways toward improving livelihoods while preserving the cultural and environmental heritage that makes Mamuju unique. The younger generation carries an especially important responsibility. They inherit more than land. They inherit thousands of years of history. They inherit the wisdom of the Mandar seafarers. They inherit the legacy of the Kalumpang ancestors whose archaeological remains continue to reveal new chapters about the origins of the Austronesian people. They inherit mountains that protect the forests, rivers that sustain life, coastlines that nourish communities, and islands that stand proudly in the middle of Indonesia's vast maritime frontier. The future of Mamuju will depend on how successfully these priceless treasures are protected. Development should never mean replacing forests with endless concrete. Economic progress should never require sacrificing indigenous traditions. Modernization should never erase the stories that shaped a civilization. The greatest societies are those that build skyscrapers without forgetting sacred mountains. They embrace innovation without abandoning identity. They compete globally while remaining deeply rooted in their own culture. That is the future Mamuju has the opportunity to create. A future where sustainable development protects biodiversity, where tourism empowers local communities instead of exploiting them, where archaeological discoveries inspire education and scientific research, where traditional knowledge works alongside modern technology, where economic growth creates prosperity that reaches every family. Imagine a future where travelers from every continent visit Mamuju not only to admire its landscapes, but to understand one of Southeast Asia's oldest cultural journeys. Imagine international researchers studying the Kalumpang archaeological sites to uncover new insights into the migration of the Austronesian peoples. Imagine students learning that one of Indonesia's most significant prehistoric stories unfolded in the hills of West Sulawesi. Imagine young entrepreneurs building innovative businesses while proudly promoting Mandar culture to the global market. Imagine fishermen using sustainable practices that protect marine ecosystems for generations yet to come. This vision is not impossible. It begins with recognizing the extraordinary value that already exists. Because greatness is rarely created from nothing. More often, it is discovered, protected, and nurtured until the rest of the world finally notices. Mamuju already possesses the essential ingredients: a remarkable history, a resilient people, extraordinary landscapes, strategic geography, living indigenous traditions, rich biodiversity, and limitless potential. The challenge is no longer whether Mamuju has something valuable to offer. The challenge is whether the world is ready to see it. Perhaps the greatest lesson Mamuju teaches us is that true significance is not measured by global headlines or international fame. Some of the world's most meaningful places remain quiet. They allow history to speak through ancient stones. They allow rivers to tell stories older than written language. They allow mountains to remind humanity that civilizations rise and fall, but nature continues to endure. And they allow people to prove that resilience is stronger than any obstacle. So the next time someone asks where the soul of Indonesia can still be found, remember this place on the western shores of Sulawesi. Remember the Mandar sailors who mastered the sea. Remember the Kalumpang highlands that preserve humanity's distant past. Remember the mountains, rivers, forests, islands, and coastlines that continue to shape life every single day. Remember the people whose determination has carried them through every challenge. Because Mamuju is far more than a point on a map. It is a living reminder that the future becomes meaningful only when it respects the journey that came before it. And as long as its people continue to protect their heritage, honour their ancestors, care for their environment, and believe in the possibilities ahead, the story of Mamuju will continue to inspire not only Indonesia, but the entire world for generations to come. There are places that impress you with towering skylines. There are places that amaze you with luxury. And then there are places like Mamuju, places that leave a mark on your heart because they remind you of something far more important. They remind you where a nation comes from. Every coastline here carries the rhythm of generations who lived in harmony with the sea. Every mountain stands as a silent witness to centuries of change. Every river has carved not only valleys through the earth, but also stories through the lives of the people who have depended on its waters for survival. This is the kind of place that teaches patience. The mountains do not rise overnight. The forests did not grow in a single season. The rivers did not shape the land in a single year. Everything meaningful here has been built over time. The same is true for civilization. The same is true for character. The same is true for a nation. When we look at Mamuju, we are not simply looking at a growing regional capital. We are looking at a living classroom, a place where history, geography, culture, science, and human resilience come together to teach lessons that remain relevant today. It teaches us that diversity is not something to fear, it is something to celebrate. Different ethnic communities have shared this land for generations. Different traditions have contributed to its identity. Different ways of life have enriched its culture. Together, they have created a society that reflects one of Indonesia's greatest strengths: unity through diversity. Nature also offers its own lessons. The tropical forests remind us that every tree has a purpose. The rivers remind us that progress is impossible without a reliable source of life. The coastline reminds us that opportunity often arrives from beyond the horizon. And the mountains remind us that every great achievement requires perseverance before reaching the summit. Perhaps that is why the people of Mamuju continue moving forward, despite every challenge they have faced. They understand that storms eventually pass. Heavy rain eventually gives way to sunshine. Waves may shake a boat, but skilled sailors never stop navigating. Earthquakes may damage buildings, but they cannot destroy hope. That spirit cannot be measured by statistics. It cannot be counted in economic reports. Yet it remains the greatest wealth any community can possess. The world today often moves too quickly. People chase trends that disappear within days. They admire places because they are popular on social media. But true significance is never determined by popularity. It is determined by legacy. Mamuju's legacy stretches across thousands of years. Its future stretches even farther. Imagine what this region could become over the next 50 years. Imagine universities attracting international researchers studying archaeology, anthropology, geology, and marine science. Imagine sustainable ports connecting eastern Indonesia with global markets. Imagine local farmers exporting high-quality agricultural products while protecting the environment. Imagine young innovators creating technology companies inspired by local wisdom. Imagine cultural festivals introducing Mandar traditions to audiences from every continent. Imagine children growing up knowing they are guardians of one of Indonesia's most extraordinary historical landscapes. That future begins with awareness, because people protect what they understand, people value what they appreciate, people preserve what they are proud of. That is why telling the story of Mamuju matters, not to glorify the past, not to compete with other places, but to remind every generation that greatness already exists within this land. It only needs people willing to recognize it. If every Indonesian discovered the hidden stories behind regions like Mamuju, they would realize that the country's greatest treasures are not only found in famous destinations, they are found in communities that quietly preserve culture, in landscapes that continue protecting biodiversity, in archaeological sites that reshape our understanding of history, in ordinary people who demonstrate extraordinary resilience every single day. Mamuju is one of those places, a destination where the past inspires the future, where nature strengthens humanity, where tradition encourages innovation, where every sunrise brings new hope across the Makassar Strait, and where every new generation receives the responsibility to continue a story that began thousands of years ago and is still being written today. The greatest stories are never the ones that end. They are the ones that continue inspiring new generations to dream bigger, protect what matters most, and build a future worthy of the remarkable history they have inherited. That is the story of Mamuju, and perhaps this is only the beginning. Years from now, when historians look back at Indonesia's journey through the 21st century, they will not measure success only by economic growth or expanding cities. They will ask a far more important question. Did we protect the places that shaped our identity? Did we preserve the cultures that carried our ancestors through thousands of years? Did we leave our children a nation that was richer not only in wealth, but also in wisdom? Mamuju has the opportunity to answer every one of those questions with confidence, because this is a region where development and preservation do not have to compete. They can move forward together. Every new school can inspire future archaeologists to uncover the next chapter of Indonesia's ancient story. Every new road can connect remote communities without sacrificing the forests that have stood for centuries. Every new investment can create jobs while respecting local traditions and protecting natural ecosystems. This is what sustainable progress truly looks like. It is not about building faster, it is about building smarter. It is not about taking more from nature. It is about giving future generations the chance to experience the same beauty we see today. Across Mamuju, opportunities continue to emerge. Its fertile land can strengthen food security. Its coastline can support a thriving blue economy. Its rivers can sustain agriculture and communities. Its mountains can become centers for conservation, ecotourism, and environmental education. Its archaeological heritage can attract scholars, researchers, and visitors from around the world. Its culture can inspire artists, filmmakers, musicians, writers and entrepreneurs to share authentic Indonesian stories with a global audience. Every one of these possibilities already exists. The foundation has been laid by nature. The responsibility now belongs to people. The greatest investment any nation can make is not only in infrastructure, it is in its people. When children receive quality education, they become innovators. When local traditions are respected, communities become stronger. When history is taught with pride, identity becomes unshakable. When the environment is protected, prosperity becomes sustainable. These principles are not abstract ideals, they are practical foundations for long-term success. Mamuju demonstrates that even a rapidly developing regional capital can remain deeply connected to its cultural roots. That balance is increasingly rare in today's world. Many places lose their identity in the pursuit of modernization. Historic neighborhoods disappear, traditional languages fade, ancient customs become forgotten memories. Natural landscapes are replaced by endless urban expansion. Once those treasures disappear, no amount of money can truly bring them back. Mamuju still has the opportunity to choose a different path, a path where progress respects history, a path where innovation strengthens tradition, a path where economic growth protects biodiversity instead of destroying it. That choice will define the region for generations to come. The world is beginning to recognize that the future belongs to places capable of preserving authenticity. Travelers seek meaningful experiences. Researchers seek undiscovered knowledge. Investors increasingly value sustainability. Young people search for purpose and identity. Mamuju possesses all of these strengths, not because they were recently created, because they have always been here, waiting to be appreciated, waiting to be protected, waiting to be shared with the world. Perhaps one day, millions of people across the globe will recognize the name Mamuju, not because of a passing trend, not because of a viral headline, but because it represents something timeless, a community that honors its ancestors, a society that embraces diversity, a landscape that celebrates nature, a people whose resilience transforms every challenge into another step forward. That is a kind of reputation that cannot be purchased. It must be earned over generations. And generation after generation, the people of Mamuju continue earning it. So whenever the sun sets beyond the Makassar Strait, casting golden light across the coastline, the rivers, the mountains and the forests, it illuminates far more than a beautiful landscape. It illuminates thousands of years of courage, thousands of years of adaptation, thousands of years of hope. And it reminds every person who witnesses that moment that Indonesia's greatest treasures are not always the ones that receive the most attention. Sometimes they are the places quietly shaping the nation's future while faithfully protecting its past. Mamuju is one of those rare places, a place where history still breathes, where culture still speaks, where nature still inspires, where resilience still defines everyday life, and where every new dawn carries the promise that the next chapter of this extraordinary story will be even greater than the last. As long as the spirit of its people remains as strong as the mountains that watch over the land, as enduring as the rivers that cross its valleys, and as limitless as the horizon stretching across the Makassar Strait, the story of Mamuju will never fade. It will continue to inspire, it will continue to endure, and it will continue to remind the world that some of the greatest places are not those that seek attention. They are the ones that quietly change the hearts of everyone fortunate enough to discover them.